What is up, everybody? It's about 9:20 in the morning. I left the studio at 9. I have some new stickers to pick up in Cleveland. Last night I decided, you know what? It's gonna be a decently nice day. I'm gonna ride there and get them. So the plan is a little over 30 miles up into 78th Street Studio to Canopy Press, get my stickers, get some lunch, and hopefully get home before sunset. Everything will have to go about right to make that happen. Also, we need to be home to feed the Edmond dinner, you know? He gets ornery when he's hungry. Started off in the 30s, should be up into the low 50s. So, you know, kind of weather I'm used to from our long trip. This could be the last longer ride for the year. Always hard to say. Never know what our weather's gonna do. We've already had some snow. Did a very cold ride last week. I will say this will be one of the last rides with a lot of fall foliage still around. Now that I'm down here in the valley, there's a little less. I guess going north, it'll probably get less and less as we go, but I've been riding around the last 2 weeks since we've been back, kind of enjoying all the color. It's just so crazy for the end of the second week of November to have this much. I used to be really aware of it because I worked on a farm that closed on Halloween, and I'd always hoped there would be some left when I was done to photograph and go for pretty hikes. But for the most part, that last week in October, it seemed everything would drop except the brown leaves on the oak trees and stuff. Yeah, riding around and seeing so much foliage in the neighborhoods was strange too, because out east the season seemed to be like more on a normal track, way farther ahead than it was here. I guess they probably just didn't have the same drought conditions we did late summer into the fall, early fall. Great blue heron. Interesting to see the farm wasn't completely buttoned up for winter yet. When I started there, we would actually finish closing up everything on the last day, which was Halloween, then have a fire, drink some beers. By the time I left there, by 2012 or something, it would take us like a week maybe to get everything closed up because it just stayed so much more busy later into the season. All that could be a little weather dependent too, but yeah, 2 weeks out, that's definitely different. But I bet they're that much busier and they're doing that much more things down there now. Plus just people, you know, are so much more into the outdoor farm market experience. It's bigger every year. You know what? I should also toot my own horn. Me and Dave aren't there anymore. We were efficient. Also, 12 miles in, 10 o'clock, so we're on a pretty good pace. So on Monday, I woke up, I had a talk to give out at one of the local high schools to photography students, just talking about my career and my path and how there can be a way to have a business in the arts, and everything was covered in snow. They had said that we were going to get some, but I didn't believe it. It was also the 50th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmond Fitzgerald on Lake Superior, who my cat is kind of named after. My cat's named after the beer that's named after the song that's named after the shipwreck. So always been a big deal in the Midwest, but I've noticed lately with meme culture it's kind of blown up. Wreck November. But my favorite local bar was having a remembrance, serving free chicken paprikash, which was the last meal they had on the Fitzgerald, and Gordon Lightfoot music, Edmond Fitzgerald beers. Bartender was dressed up as a sailor. I decided to ride my bike to it. I'm like, I might as well get used to this weather now. So it was in the 20s and blustery. Most of the snow had melted, so the roads were fine. Just a little bit on the bridges, but not that slick. Ground's still warm, obviously. But me and Aaron went out on a Monday, got food and some beers. Then I had her take me home though. It got real cold, but yeah, starting to get acclimated to it. Now the gloves are coming off. Good day for ice cream. So I am on the gunner today. I've been mostly riding my Raleigh, my drop bar gravel bike since I got home from the trip. But the front shifter's having an issue. I think it's just cable and housing needs to be replaced. It's getting hung up somehow, but I didn't decide to do this till the last minute. So I would have probably preferred to ride that, but didn't have time to get it together. And I'm fine on this. We're 17.5 miles in, 13.7 mile an hour average. I knew I wasn't trying to kill it. I'm just trying to get there in one shot though. I should put one of those timer reminder things on my Wahoo for the winter, because I just went almost 20 miles without drinking any water. When it's cold, or chilly, I just forget. You don't feel thirsty. Then I took a sip and I'm like, oh my God, I'm parched. You know, I really should have checked to make sure there were no trail closures. I did not, because there's been a number of bank stabilization projects the last couple of years. And it looks like some bridge work. Looks like we're not going to have any issues here. This is all a recently resurfaced part of the towpath. They actually put some pavement down. A lot of the runners and hikers were not happy about it. But as you can see, we're between the old canal and the Cuyahoga River. Every spring flood just destroyed the trail. So they needed something more permanent. It also used to get really narrow there. So on busy weekends, it was hard to pass people. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm a cyclist, used to be a runner, but the surface doesn't matter if you can't get out here at all because it's closed every year, so I think it's an improvement. 22.5 miles, time for some dry figs. I try to keep a positive attitude about, you know, going into the winter, the weather changing, all that. The whole thing of, if you hate the winter, still going to be cold and snowy, you're just going to also be miserable, or however that saying goes. Usually hear it in relation to the rain. But one thing I hate with a passion is the end of daylight savings time. Just, I want my light in the evening. That's when I want to mostly be able to do things, you know. So can't film really anything from my weekly group rides. It's too dark. So I do try and get out during the day more. I mean, that's the way I deal with it. Like right now, it's Friday, but I'll work this evening and enjoy a 70-ish mile ride during the day. But yeah, give me summer, give me sunset at 9 o'clock, not 4:30 in the afternoon. You know what I realized? I said this would be the last long ride of the year, maybe. But I always do the festive 500 kilometers between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I usually get a couple longer rides than that. That's always such a wild card. Never know what the weather is going to be on that week-long adventure. I like it. It's something that motivates me to try and challenge myself and ride my bike a lot at a time where you're just eating a bunch of food and hanging out with a bunch of people. So I usually don't have much work that week. Last few years, I think I've actually had zero outside keeping this channel going and all that. I was just riding along thinking about my mileage for the year and how interesting that is. I think I have more miles at this point than I ever have, which I don't chase miles for miles' sake. Which the reason that's kind of different to me is I've done a couple big rides, you know. Me and Ben just did a long tour. We did our summer tour, but that's kind of typical. I just find that I haven't done a ton of epic rides. I've only done one century this year. Me and Aaron have done a couple weekend things, but I've always been getting out. Just, you know, a little break in work. It might just be 10 miles. I think I've only missed like a handful of days riding all summer. And most of those were because I was traveling for work. Unintentionally got myself up over 6,000 miles already. So just hit 30 miles, 14 mile an hour average. It's 11:15, so I'm on track. I did finally drink a whole bottle of water. All right, 35 miles in, just stopped to put in a route to get to 78th Street Studios. I just used the Take Me To feature on the Wahoo, so we'll see how it goes. I kind of know how to get there, but I'd rather just follow a map. Can't say I've ever ridden this way before. We're going down, I think it's Clark Avenue. There's a bike lane now, so all good. Turned on to 65th, another bike lane, another road I don't think I've ever ridden. Oh, we're right by Blazing Saddles. Close to 40 miles, farther than I thought. In my head I was thinking like 33, but oh well. Noon, that's the time I wanted to get here. Hoping to be done with lunch by 1 and back on the road. Bike racks. Edmond stickers and some restocks acquired. Those will be live with the video. I will have those linked below if you want them. Now let's go get some lunch. I am hungry. See maple trees with their leaves up here too. Yeah, that Parkview spot is so great. Kind of like one of those, it's a classic dive, but with good food. And then I walk in, I sit down, I hear Fitzwater. Guy 2 seats down, knows the channel, did Ohio to Erie this year. Actually was FaceTiming his son, who he did it with, and put me on, so I gotta say hi to him. Yeah, just crazy. Sit down at a little bar in Cleveland, and the guy next to me knows me, so yeah, knows the channel. Anyways, the first time I ever went to Parkview is right when I started doing like bike videos. I had come up here for Critical Mass and there was a fundraiser for Joy Machines. And so I came up early, did a little riding, and I knew that's the place I wanted to go check out. So yeah, a little over 5 years ago was the last time and the first time I was there. So yeah, I don't know, full circle, something, I don't know. All right, back on the towpath, 136, a little later than I wanted it to be, but I think we should still beat sunset. We'll see how it goes. Forgot to get my bottles. That was only 2 beers, geez. Bottles filled at the restaurant, so we're gonna do that now, and I'm gonna get rid of the jackets. I think I'm gonna go no jackets the way home. I do think I'll move that bag to the front for the winter. I like the weight on the front of the gunner and the Raleigh. They're slack enough that it handles better that way. Okay, seen a lot of deer today, but this seems like a weird spot for one. And a buck on the hill. We are literally where all the steel plants are. Look at that guy. These towers getting all rusty and it's all liquid nitrogen doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But if I ever have a T-1000 chasing me, I know where to go. Or T-2000. What was the liquid metal guy? Terminator 2. I'll be back. You guys hear it? You guys know what I'm talking about? It is real windy right here. I'm just hoping when we get towards the valley we're a little more protected. Do not want to do 35 miles into a headwind. Yeah, this is a block headwind from the south right now. This could really change the vibe of the ride home. Yeah. I'm actually working on a new sticker. Had the idea for out on the bike tour on the second to last day when the wind nearly broke me. So that's not something I picked up yet. I need to give it to a designer to finish, but it'll be about this. "51 miles, 216. So pushing, but wind's slowing the pace down, just the way it's gonna be. So I still feel like I'll beat sunset though. 3 hours should be plenty. Well, 60 miles in, and there's no two ways about it, I'm cooked. What I thought was going to be a quick whip down the towpath, quick rip down the towpath, has turned into a real slog. I feel like I'm more in a just get home mentality now. So one thing I am doing that I didn't do the last time in the wind is making sure that I keep snacking. Because I know my body miles wise and elevation wise when I need to eat, but all that goes out the window in the wind when you can't quite tell as well how much effort you are putting out. Just hit mile number 70. Still windy, but not as bad with the trees around. Yeah, I think I'm about 10 miles from home. So I had a couple topics I was going to talk about on the way back, but I was too tired. I just felt like pedaling. But I think I might do a couple more talking head videos with B-roll in the future. Used to do more of that on the channel, but as the weather turns and some ride-along videos just might be less interesting, I might do a few more topic things. We'll see. I just passed a guy going in the opposite direction that I passed this morning going in the opposite direction. He had like a road bike but a backpack and stuff on, and I'm wondering if he went to work, did a full day worth of work while I went up to Cleveland and picked up these stickers. Or maybe he's been out riding all day too, who knows. I have to say, did I call it or what? It's 4:30 and I said I think my plan is to get home around 5 in the beginning. I don't know, roll back the tape, I can't remember, but either way, that's what I had in my head, and I'm about to nail that. Yeah, temp is definitely dropping fast with the sun going down below the trees. Part of the reason I kind of wanted to be back too before the sunset. You know, I obviously have lights with me, so not the dark that would be an issue, but yeah. Plus, it's good to have goals, right? One thing I always have to say, doing long towpath rides for me, always got to end climbing up out of the valley. Man, Deer City today. It's 4:54. So the ride by the numbers, as someone would say, 82 miles, 1,800 feet, 6 hours and 25 minutes of rolling time. So pretty good way to spend a day. As I said, stickers will be linked below if you're interested in some Edmond stickers, who's laying on me right now, keep warming me back up. Also, if you're interested in another cool towpath video, I'm going to throw it to one of my favorite days of all time, the eclipse day from a couple years ago. I will see you in the next one. Thanks as always for watching. Peace.